I mean, we need to give them some latitude. But why should it be any different from police officers? And I tell you something else that's really harming the movement as well. And that is these unwarranted claims against police officers. People got to stop doing that because it muddies the waters. Claiming a police officer did something that he didn't really do and you're mad. We got to stop doing all of that. That's muddying the waters when it comes to real complaints. What else here? Mr. Hollywood writes, and why haven't Al Sharpton got involved with Tracy Hunter case too? Isn't he friends with Bishop Bobby Hilton? ? Well, friends might be a stretch, but I don't know the details of their personal relationship. And I do think that's a fair question. I mean, because at my old job, okay, I'm on the bigger and brighter things now, but at my old gig, Mr. Sharpton still maintains a show in this market. And I've just heard some things about Mr. Sharpton, that he's just really in person, really not a nice guy. That's just what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. That he used to come to the station basically with his head like in tunnel vision, not really say what's up to anybody at all, do his show, roll out, that's it. So maybe he doesn't really have a real connection with the city of Cincinnati, because for me, it would have made perfect sense since Cincinnati is one of the cities in which his show is broadcast, that he at least address more of that issue. But again, I never listened to every show. I do remember Mr. Bishop Bobby Hilton going on that show and discussing it, but I don't believe it ever became like a serious, recurring, ongoing topic. And I think that falls back on the host, perhaps. Again, that's just my thoughts on it. Charles writes, they'll all probably get off, Rhonda. That'll be pretty sad, and it might lead to more social unrest. Something tells me that you got a few black officers. Tell me if I'm wrong here. I could be cynical. Black men in America and all. I could be cynical. But something tells me that the black officers, they might not get off like that. I'm just telling you, from my vantage point, I've seen a lot of officers who, when they end up being charged, a lot of them seem to be black. Am I wrong about that? Theft in office. They catch a black man with his hand caught in a cookie jar. And I'm like, I know this is more prevalent, so I don't know if it's just a straight up black-white thing like that, or maybe it's just my ill-biased perspective. You tell me. You tell me. We got a lot of questions on the table. Answer whatever you like. Avery writes, Rob Richardson, I believe Sr. was at the hearing on Friday, and also Joe Mallory. Okay, great. That's right. That's Avery, and he should know. And I respect that. I really do. But being at the hearing is not the same as having a press conference afterward. Okay? Being at the hearing is not the same as raising some noise inside the city about it. Okay? It's not the same things. I'm not criticizing Mr. Richardson. I'm just being straight with you. That's what I do. I'm being straight with you. I don't know everything that's happened. Again, I need you out there in the city of Cincinnati. Be my eyes and ears. If there's something going on, and many people do this, and many of those thoughts and tips make it straight to the show. Okay, I'm a straight up dude like that. But if something's happening, let me know. If you go to my website, Nathan Ivey, on the right-hand side, there's a banner that says voicemail. You can send a voicemail at any time. At any time. And I will receive it. And I will play it on the show as long as it's appropriate. Okay? If I need to, if there's names in it, I can bleep the names out. If it's extreme language, I can bleep that out. But you can leave a tip at my website, a voicemail that can be played on this show live to everybody at any time. And I would encourage you to do so. Get your voice on the show. But I'm glad to hear that. I think that to be honest with you, I think that the NAACP is in better hands. And I still have some issues. And I hope I'm wrong about certain things, but I believe that the NAACP is in much better hands because the old leadership, I'm not sure what happened to them. They got bought out, sold out. Mr. Christopher Smitherman fell out with, the folks at my old job. Again, there's a real story behind that. But it's just not my story to tell. That's not my story to tell. And when you find out the real story, it will blow you away. It will blow you away. It's just not my story to tell. Maybe one day I'll talk to the individual involved and I can get, especially at this point, I can get permission to delve into it. But it's not my story to tell. Like I tell you, when people give me information in confidence, I keep it in confidence. And I'm telling you that so that if you're listening and you tell me something, that's where it stays. Period. Black, white, green, Republican, Democrat. That's just me. I don't want to be the guy who people tell me things in confidence and I run back to the airways and blab about it. That's just not my style. That's just not my style. Okay? So it's not my story, but there's a real story behind that. I hope the Cincinnatians can hear that story one day. It will blow you away. Quite honestly. It really will. Rhonda writes, well, I don't know about everybody getting bonuses, but it's been a while since teachers got raises. That's what I'm saying, Rhonda. Somebody earlier was talking about bonuses for teachers. I don't see it. I mean, I think contractually as a part of the union relationship, they get raises, but bonuses, that's different. A bonus is on top of a raise. Charles writes, Bismack Biyombo had LeBron scared to go to the bucket after that block, which was clean, by the way. You're right, Charles. That was a clean block. It never should have been a foul. You know, I'm a LeBron James supporter, son of Ohio, but I keeps it real. And here's what's going on with the Cavs. It's about their heart. It's about their heart and their physicality. When Kyrie Irving becomes the same kind of player on the defensive end that he is on the offensive end, he's going to be a special player. He ain't there yet. Offensively, nobody can guard him. He'll make you look dumb. He's Uncle Drew, okay? I've played against guys like that on the playgrounds in the city of Cincinnati. Amazing talents. Amazing talents. It takes a special talent, okay? It's just natural. It's God-given and a lot of practice to develop those kind of skills, okay? I had a great game, had crazy game, dunked on cats, but I'm not here to tell you I was the best basketball player in the world. I was not. Okay, I give props where props were. I had my days in the gym now. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Oops. You know what I'm saying? Oh, ain't nothing like running down the court and catching a oop on a fast break and dunking on a sucker that's been talking ish to you. There's nothing like it. Thank you, God, for that experience. But any brothers out there that ever dunked in a real game before, hit me up. It's an amazing feeling. Okay? But what is coming down to the Cavs is this. Heart. It's heart and physicality. Kevin Love's trying, but you can tell that physically he's limited. He is. I mean, he'll probably do my cookies, okay, in a basketball one-on-one game. But hey, I'm not in the NBA. I'm not on par with you. But he just seems like he's kind of limited with his lateral movement, his defensive abilities. I see Kyrie Irving giving up on plays, watching his man without challenging the ball. Come on. When Kyrie Irving's defensive game matches his offensive game, he'll be a real talent. Until then, you know, he's got great crossovers, and, you know, from time to time, he'll do good things. I don't know. This next game is going to be really interesting, folks. Really interesting. Woody writes, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Woody. Welcome. Brittany writes, good morning. Good morning, Brittany. Good to have you. Pardon me. Good morning, Carolyn. She writes, good morning, all. And then a message to Crutha. Woody writes, basketball is all right. I'm ready for some football. I feel you. Absolutely. I'm not looking forward to what's going to happen with the Bengals this year because they lost their offensive coordinator. And I believe that dude was, I can't say how much in terms of percentage, but I think he had a huge impact on Andy Dalton, who, by the way, still hasn't proven anything to me. I don't care what he does in a regular season. The Bengals can go 16-0, and I'll be the one person in the media in Cincinnati saying, yeah, and so what? It means nothing. I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying to you for years, to all my Houday fans out there, and you're going to hate me for it, but the only thing that matters when it comes to the Bengals is the playoffs. I don't care if they go 16-0. I don't care. The only reason why I don't care is because they'll get like a great seeding in the postseason. Other than that, it means nothing. Andy Dalton threw for 400 yards and no interceptions, Nate. What are you going to say now? I'm going to say the same thing I said last year and the year before that. And so what? The only thing that matters is the playoffs, period. Reggie writes, good morning, chat room. Do we have a name yet? Question mark. No, we do not. I'm still taking suggestions. Brent writes, all 6 of those cops will get off because that prosecutor was premature in her indictments, given the lack of direct evidence. This will prove to be an embarrassment for that prosecutor. Oh, my God, Brent, don't say that. You mean that young, beautiful sister? That's what you're talking about? That was a great moment. She stood up and said, listen, I'm doing something about this, black people. Please don't tell me that. No, something tells me that a couple of the black officers, they're going to do something. They're going to be found guilty on something. I guarantee it. Watch. Brittany writes, nope, Nate, because they all buddies and hang out on the weekend. Yeah, she might be right. Woody writes, she is a Sharon Stone wannabe. Talking about Megyn Kelly? Yes, she is. With the hair, the dress. Brittany writes, good point. The officers were a threat to Freddie. Right. Brittany writes, now who playing the racist card, Megyn? Exactly. Brittany's on top of it. She's breaking it down. If you're just tuning in, I just played a clip of Megyn Kelly in a debate between Mr. DeRay McKesson, who, again, you may not know his name, but I'm sure if you follow anything that happened in Baltimore, you know his face because he was out there front and center. He was also a candidate for mayor. Tracy writes, Megyn Kelly is certainly feeling herself. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Listen, she capitalized off of Trump's chauvinism. And she was able to do that because she held her ground. It was beautiful. I was watching the debate that day. She held her ground. And for a female in the media, and that's a male-dominated industry, she's getting mass props. And deservedly so. I don't agree with every viewpoint on her, but I will say something about Megyn Kelly. And I've only been watching her more since this whole Trump thing. I mean, she does her homework, number one. I've heard her hold Republicans accountable as well. And she's sort of crafting... pardon me. She's sort of crafting this, her own little niche within that Fox market. So, props to her. I've got no hate at all. Okay, I'm doing my thing over here. Brent writes, what the hell is wrong with Megyn? ? When a cop exercises bad judgment, he shouldn't be held accountable? ? Now I see why Trump went in on her. ... dumbass. ... Uh-oh, Brent. At least you didn't bring up bleeding or anything like that, Brent. Yeah, Megyn Kelly didn't make any sense. If you exercise bad judgment, just like with a private citizen, and it leads to a loss of life or serious damage or injury, your ass should do some time. Or you should be held responsible in some way. I don't understand what Megyn Kelly was talking about. If you missed it, while talking with Mr. DeRay McKesson, she said, listen, don't you see the danger in the community if we start locking up cops for exercising poor judgment? And my direct answer is no. Not at all. She's out there on that one. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Not at all. Let me switch gears here just for a second. And we must talk about some of the amazing things that are going on, including with the Supreme Court. Now, you know that I am not a supporter of the death penalty, even in cases where people confess, even in cases of, let's say, terrorism, mass killings. I am not in favor of the death penalty. And while in those instances, those individuals may deserve the death penalty, we as a nation don't deserve the death penalty. Can you follow me on that? You follow me on that? Have you heard the latest I struggle to understand where some of these people come from. And I'm talking about Clarence Thomas, who, as I understand it, was the only dissenting voice in a recent case in which the Supreme Court overturned the death penalty for a black man. And one of the reasons is because he had an all-white jury. Now, let's be honest here. Prosecutors, white prosecutors, I think it happens in Hamilton County. People want to win. And I think that, especially after OJ, people are hypersensitive about the impact of black people being on juries. Okay? Because let's be honest here. If there were more white people on that OJ Simpson jury, then OJ would have went to jail. But now you got Clarence Thomas, black man, who is defending the all-white jury in the Timothy Foster case? Clarence Thomas, who, by the way, I believe everything Anita Hill said about Clarence Thomas, by the way. I believed it back then, I believe it today, and I'm going to believe it tomorrow. Anita Hill was a proud sister with a great legal mind. She was shy and introverted. There's no way